and welcome to the January 2014 edition of Using Technology in Physical Education podcast. Well, the saying goes, what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. But I was in Vegas a week or so ago at the CES Consumer Electronics Show, and I definitely want to start this podcast with sharing some of the new devices that I saw at this show. In this edition, we will also look at comparing the PlayStation 4 with the Xbox One and provide you with a complete introduction to the grade level specific physical education portfolios. One highlight of the show was their health and fitness technology devices. Often they were calling these their wearable technologies, and their point was to be able to monitor sleep, heart rate, movement, and much like a pedometer or accelerometer. So a variety of sensors that would monitor your physical capacity as you move throughout the day. So we're going to take a look at several of these devices. The first, which was a winner of one of the innovation awards, is the Polar Electro. And what this device does is it monitors physical activity and exercise levels. And there is an online, and it's free, tracking service and app. And the idea is to give you suggestions for small improvements in your daily activity. Another winner of an innovative award is the Magellan Echo. And the Echo works with both a smartphone and a wrist receiver. And so either on your smartphone or on your wrist, you gather the data from the Echo, which includes time, distance, pace. And you can see it immediately on your wrist, or you can download it later to your smartphone and observe it there. Adidas has a new device that also won an award. It's called the M-Coach Smart Run, and it is designed primarily for higher level performers. It includes GPS sensoring, wireless music streaming, and a heart monitor, which does not require a strap. And so you can monitor using any of the M-Coach apps. You can monitor info from this device. Moving more into the medical field is a new device called the I'm not sure how you actually pronounce this, Scout, I believe, and it has a variety of sensors, and it gives you quick and accurate reading of all of your key vital signs, and it even will transfer them to your doctor. Now, this device was a little more unique. It's for swimmers, and it monitors their heart rate while in the pool, and the heart rate data is displayed in the swimming goggles. So as the swimmer is progressing through the pool, they can actually monitor their heart rate. Similar devices that could be seen at the show included this device called the Spree. Again, it monitors heart rate and movement. Also the Mio, the Wear It, the Spark, the Fitbit, which has been out for some time now, the TICKR X Motion and Heart Rate, another from Garmin VivoFit, the Rhythm Smart, another heart rate monitor, the Scottish Train Smarter, again, another monitor, and then iHealth, which was another monitor that did go more into the health field. Now, with all of these various fitness technology devices, how does one choose which one to purchase? Well, I think there are two key variables here. One is, how accurate is it? And we've seen these devices before where they monitor heart rate, but they don't use a chest strap. Some work fairly well, others do not. So the first thing you have to do is contact the manufacturer and get information on the accuracy of the device. And if they cannot provide you with that information, then that should be a red flag right there. Secondly, how well does the device work when you're having multiple people For example, in a physical education class, you have multiple kids using the same device. Does it work just as well? Because many of these devices have been designed for the general public to use, basically one device per person, and it interfaces with their smartphone. We don't really have that scenario in physical education, so we need to look at devices that would work for us. Another similar category that could be seen at the show were body composition analyzers. And again, with these, I would ask the same questions of the manufacturer. What evidence do you have that they are accurate? Now, one device that we have reviewed previously in our podcast, the InBody, which seems to be a fairly accurate device, but again, you always want to ask for data. And then a new one, which actually won an award, which was the Sculpt AIM, another device that would monitor or determine one's percent of body fat. A new category of devices I thought was quite interesting. This one won an award. It monitors your sun exposure. And so even if just you're wearing it, you could get a pretty good idea what kind of sun exposure the kids are getting during a given day. The category involves sensors. Sensors is the key word this year, but sensors that are embedded in sporting good devices such as a basketball or a tennis racket that can then measure impact or the actual motion that the sport equipment is taking. And so this gives feedback to the youngster who is using the particular device. These devices, called the Reebok Check Light, is designed to be worn inside a football helmet in order to monitor concussions, and I thought that was quite an interesting application. I also liked using it. As you can see, they put it on a self-defense dummy, and you could strike the dummy and it gave you feedback on I'm thinking applications with self-defense. Determine how hard you were striking and whether you would have an effective strike on an opponent. There were examples of exercise gaming, but not as many as in previous years. We did see the Dance Dance Revolution, the classroom edition by Konami. What I liked is their new software, and what you'll notice here are there's actually 3 programs running simultaneously. The one on the left is for beginners, the one in the middle is for intermediate, and the one on the right is for advanced. And basically they monitor the same types of steps. You're just going faster with the middle, and there's more steps again and faster with the advanced, but you can have all 3 programs running simultaneously. We also saw devices, and we've seen these before, but this was put out by one of the playground companies. Various lights come on and the kids are trying to hit these various lights. My only concern here is that there's not a lot of room, and so how many kids can you really safely have using this device, and especially for the cost? Fitness piece or physical activity piece at the conference was a device from Xsense, and you'll notice that on the performer here, there's a number of little boxes that are connected with Velcro around different parts of the body. And as she moves, those boxes send a signal to the computer, and you can watch her performance digitized on a computer. And this is often used in biomechanics or different types of digital analysis of movement. And this has actually been something that's been available for a long time. They're just making it even easier to use. Another whole area at the show had to do with portable or solar power. And this doesn't directly relate to physical education or athletics, but certainly as we use all of these devices in our classes, we're going to have to power them up. And so one of the devices I thought was interesting, and we've talked a little bit about it before, is the portable power where you can have a wireless charging station. And so there are more of these that were at the show. Also, the idea of charging a small device through connecting it to an outlet and then carrying it with you, and whenever you need an additional charge for your phone or a tablet or something, you plug it in and it gives a quick charge to the device. And then lastly is the whole area of solar power, and they had different devices And they're looking here at putting it on a street corner where people are waiting for a bus or waiting for the light to change. They can actually charge a device. But they also have portable solar panels that you could place on your field, and you'd be able to recharge any of your devices. Previous episodes, we have looked at our elementary physical education portfolio, middle school physical education portfolio, and high school physical education portfolio. But as mentioned a couple of months ago, we now have specific grade level portfolios that align completely to the California physical education standards, and the one that will be available for you to take a look at APERD will be completely aligned to the NASP grade level physical education outcomes. So it is a very specific portfolio addressing the standards and is totally aligned to our curriculum, our posters, and task cards. When you first open up the CD or copy it over to your hard drive, you'll see two icons. The one on the top here is for Macintosh. You'll double click it, and the one on the bottom is for Windows. And it's best if you put the portfolio into a Documents subdirectory, because at least with Windows, if you put it into the actual Windows directory, it will not allow you to add data to the program, which is what you want to do with a portfolio. Double click on the program, you will be presented with a dialog box that asks for your account name and password. Initially, for you as a teacher, the account name is teacher and the password is teacher, all lowercase. Presented with the initial opening screen for the teacher. Here, you can click on Create Teacher Account, put in your last name, and actually your last name can also be your account name. That's a really good idea. And then put in whatever password you want to use. Notice that Teacher just takes you to that initial opening screen. Now you'll log out, log back in using your account name and your password, and it will take you to your normal teacher menu. Initially, you will not see any period here, but you will see a variety of buttons. So let's start in the lower left-hand corner. If you click on Quit Application, it will literally quit the program. Clicking on the End of Year button takes you to directions for what to do at the end of each school year with the current version and how to set up a new copy for your next class. Clicking on Change Password has you input the old password as well as a new password, and to confirm that you want to change your password. Before you do anything else, you're going to want to set up your class periods. And there's already one here that we've set up, and the way that is done is you click on Add Period, type in the period number. So now I've added period 2. So now on my screen I have period 1, period 2. You can have as many periods as you want. You can see the scroll bar down the right column there, right hand side of the screen, and that will allow you access to any of your class periods. You're going to click on Manage Accounts, and that refers to setting up, primarily it refers to setting up your student accounts. So the easiest way to do this is to have all of your students in an Excel file. And then you can simply click on Import Students and select the Excel file that you want to import. The file must be set up in a specific manner. Column A is the student's first name, column B is their last name, column C is their ID number. Columns D and E are optional, but if you don't use them, they have to be blank, and they are for the student's email address and the parent's email address. Column F is for the teacher's last name, and that's why we ask when you sign into your account, what is your last name? And then column G is for period. You can also click on the button Create an Account and set up students one by one. Now that wouldn't be as efficient, but it might be necessary if during the course of the semester you were to have a student transfer in. And then you would actually fill in their information one student at a time, same information. You can also click on Change Student Information, and you can go through and make changes to their name if that happened to change, or their email address. To add a student or import a student, they are automatically given the password of 1234. But as we'll see in a moment, as soon as they log in for the first time, they are forced to create their own password. Now, might the youngster forget their password? Yes, so what you can do is click on Change Password, and it resets the student's password to 1234, and then again when they log in for the first time, they will have to change it. The next button allows you to export students. So let's say a student checks out of your class and then you want to export their data. You can do that. So click on the Export Student, and you're already looking at the student. It will give you a dialog box that tells you the name of the file that will be on your desktop. Now, using the Import button, you can also import that Export It button. So now you're the receiving teacher, you can find it and you can import it as well. The next button to look at is the Delete Student button. Click on the Delete Student button, present it with a dialog box where you can type in the student ID. You will be given another dialog box that says this is a permanent deletion. You say yes or no, and then that student will be deleted. The next button is Teacher Menu, which takes you back to the original teacher menu that you see when you log in each time. But I want to show you one more thing. Up in the upper right-hand corner, it tells you which student you're looking at, and you can use those arrows right and left to move from student to student. Or you can click in the upper left-hand corner and see a list view of all your students. The list view allows you to see all of the students and their information. There's also a box in the upper right-hand corner where you can show all students, in other words, all periods, or depending upon the number of periods you've selected, you can select one period and just show those students. And of course, you're probably going to have more students in this, but as you scroll down to the bottom, then you'll have the option of going back to the Manage Student Accounts, where you see one student at a time, and then from there you can click and return to the main teacher menu. Select from this screen Export Students. And originally when we talked about exporting students, we were exporting one at a time. This button will allow you to export all of your students or whichever period you're viewing at that particular moment. For each period that you have set up and probably put kids into, you will see that period listed with 3 additional buttons: View Portfolios, View Student Scores, and View Reports. And when you click on any of these buttons, you will only see the students in that period. So clicking on period 1 and clicking on View Portfolios will take you to the table of contents. From there, you can look at any of the assessments. Now, we're going to look at the assessments a little bit later from the student perspective. It's the same as for the teacher, except with the teacher, you have an extra button that allows you to look at one assessment and go from one student to the next, where the kid only sees their specific portfolio. Button allows you to view student scores, and in the California specific version you can either select California or you can select Fitware. In the new version it'll just be Fitware, and the national standards are embedded, so there really will be no choice here. It will take you directly to a listing of your students with their scores, and if you're doing structured observation, this is the best place to click on a student, click on what you're observing, and then to click on demonstrated or not, or to select one of the rubric scores. The third button takes you to View Reports, and this is also the place where you'll be able to not only view them but send them. Again, in this California version, you select California or Fitware. In the national version, you'll just go to the one report where all of the outcomes are listed along with the scores. Sure, you can use the right and left arrows to go from student to student. Clicking on Menu takes you back to the Teacher menu, and clicking on Print or Email gives you the option of either printing or email. And you can either do the students that you're viewing, or you can do all students. click on send or click on email, and all of the students' reports are either printed or emailed to their parents. Let's look at the portfolio from the student perspective. They double click on the program or you have it up ready to go. And initially they're going to put in their account number, which is the one that was in the import, along with 1234 as their password. But as soon as they do, they will be prompted to put in a new password, and from here on out they'll have to use their ID and their new personal password. And logs in, they'll be taken to their main menu, which looks like this portfolio belongs to, and there will be a right arrow they can click on to get to the table of contents. From here, the students can click to each of the assessments in the portfolio. And again, the assessments are different depending upon the grade level. For each of the motor skill assessments, there is a place where the students can put in a video clip of their before and after, as well as having a rubric. Types of assessment includes a fitness report where students can keep track of their physical fitness. There's also one for physical activity. There's a variety of essays that the students will be answering, again, depending upon what the standard is. There's a list of social skills and personal responsibility skills that are basically assessed through structured observation, so the teacher would be noting the score on these. Also a quiz for each of the units, and the quizzes, the numbers at the top, refer to the actual unit standard that is being assessed. And so these may be multiple choice, short answers. If it is a multiple choice true and false or matching, then the computer will actually score it for the teacher. Otherwise, the teacher will need to put in the scores. The last couple of months of 2013, we saw the release of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And so I did order one of each so that I could set them up and give you information on which one was easier to use, which one might be better for your money. And then additionally, throughout the year, I'll be able to test different video programs and make recommendations for physical education. Devices that I ordered was the PlayStation 4, and I ordered it from Amazon.com. And I did get free shipping because I have Amazon Prime, which costs like $80 a year, and you get free shipping. Now, I live in the mountains, so we order things rather than going to the store. Plus, we get free movies and free book rentals for Kindle or for a Kindle app. So I did order the PlayStation 4 from Amazon.com. You can see here that my cat decided to help me open the box and take out the extra paper and plastic material. Once unwrapped, there was the box that contained the PlayStation 4, and outside of it, it gives some directions but not much, just kind of some information about the PlayStation. Opened up the box, it had the PlayStation itself, plus it had an electrical cord. When I took each of the devices out, you can see that there was a handheld device in order to communicate with the PlayStation device itself, and then the various cords. With a quick setup booklet, although it didn't give a lot of directions, it did show you how to, for instance here, connect the electrical cord to the device, to the wall. Here we have the HDMI cable that connects from the PlayStation 4 to your television. Here is a device that allows you to have an earphone, and then here is the interface with the PlayStation 4. This last cable here connected from the gaming device to the machine through a USB so that it could charge the handheld device. And the ports, I'll call them the ports on the PlayStation, were all marked, and it was very easy to connect the HDMI cable, the power cable, the USB that connected to the handheld device so that I could get it charged. This is a Sony PlayStation, so it also plays Blu-ray discs. Disappointment with the PlayStation 4 is that it doesn't come with a video interface or a camera so that you can physically do things and interact with the video games. You can purchase that separately, but by the time you purchase that separately, even though the PlayStation 4 is initially cheaper, it ends up being pretty much of a wash between the prices. So the Xbox One is more expensive, but it comes with the Kinect, which is the video interface camera. The Sony PlayStation is a bit cheaper, but then you have to pay extra for additional devices. Now, setting this up again mechanically was very easy. Getting it going was easy, except that, and probably because I got it so early, it took time to have to reload its operating system. So it already had made changes and updates, so I had to wait for that to occur. Once that occurred, the actual interface on the television screen was very easy to understand and quickly to use without any additional directions. And as I said earlier, it does play Blu-ray disc, and it does also interface with any of your paid services. So for me, the Amazon Prime, I can get my movies and stuff through there. Next, I ordered the Xbox. Now, I tried to order it from Amazon.com, and apparently I had waited too long because they were all sold out. And then they had a few more available, and I was in there, and I think myself and other Xbox One wannabes brought down their site for a few minutes trying to get the last few that they had. So eventually I just waited until the initial purchase of them subsided, and I ordered one from Best Buy. And even though I don't have any special arrangement with Best Buy, they did provide free delivery, and it came in the box that you opened up and pulled out the other box. My cat was very happy during this whole experience. She got a lot of new boxes. The information on the outside of the box did not provide much information, but once I opened it, I could see the different parts, and there was a quick start user guide, made it easy to connect the various cables to the box. The other pamphlets you see here, mostly warranties and free trial offers. I will say this, I signed up for the online Xbox, and it was for 30 days, tried it out, but it was definitely a pain to unsubscribe to it. They did not make that part very easy. So here we have all the connection pieces that came with the Xbox One. Again, basically the same as what you saw with the PlayStation 4. Here's the electrical. There's two parts to it, so it does have a transformer box to connect the two parts and plug it into your Xbox One and plug it into your wall, and you're set to go there. And this is the interface for connecting the electrical cord. And then you'll see that there are HDMI interfaces to connect from the box to the television. There's also a number of USB ports, and there was also an Ethernet port to connect to the internet, although you can do it wirelessly, which is how I did it for both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Here you have the device that you hold in your hand to interface. I found the PlayStation 4 handheld device much easier to use. There's an interface there to connect it to the Xbox One so that you can charge the device, albeit you can also put batteries in it. That connection also allows you to interface with the Xbox One without having to go wireless. The last one device you saw were the headphones. The headphones connect to the interface you just saw, which connects to the handheld PlayStation. So they all connect into one device. So you're moving the handheld, but you also have audio that you can hear through the HDMI cable. One end connects to the Xbox One. The other end connects to your television. This is the end of the cable for the Kinect, which is the video monitoring. Only one place it can connect on the Xbox One. And it did look pretty ugly behind my television set. However, you're really only connecting the connection between the device and the television, the connection between the Kinect, or for the Sony, the camera, to the box. And so there aren't a lot of connections, and it's quite obvious how they go. Here you can see it connected into one of my 3 HDMI ports. Same issue with the Xbox One that I had with the PlayStation 4. in that as soon as I started it up, it wanted to update its operating system. Again, probably because of the newness of the machine. I got both of them in 2013. So I went ahead and updated it. That took a while. Again, I'm doing both the PlayStation and the Xbox One wireless, connecting it wirelessly to my router. Same one I use for my computers. But I did find that the Xbox One was a little more difficult to manipulate without any instructions, trying to move around. The interface wasn't quite as simple as the PlayStation 4. And I really like to know what I'm doing when I'm working with the device, so I did go to Amazon, and for $2.99 each I was able to purchase a Kindle version of a user guide, how to use step by step the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, which I think is really a good idea so that you can take full advantage of both devices. I like the Kinect or the video interface better on the Xbox, but I like the interface of the PlayStation 4 better overall. Either one will allow you to play DVDs, Blu-ray, and the various games that you would want to do in physical education. Well, that's it for this edition. As always, keep doing good things for kids.